Hi everyone, Craig Power with Power Realty Advisors. Today's question is about closing costs. For some buyers, I know it's frustrating, right? You budget this whole thing out, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 set aside to purchase your first home, or maybe you have equity in your current home. And then at some point when you're getting ready for your next purchase, the lender or I look at you and we say, hey, don't forget about closing costs. And you say, of course, closing costs, closing costs. What are closing costs again? What does that represent? So we're going to get into that here today. Of course, there are closing costs both for buyers and sellers. Sellers are generally responsible for the real estate commission. You're going to see that often as 5% off the top in the transaction. They might be responsible for any prorated property taxes, any transfer fees, transfer taxes, that type of thing. But get into the buyer side. You know, there are examples of sellers paying off maybe liens on the property. It gets a little bit complicated. For our sake, I tend to ramble. Let's keep it simple. Now, for buyers' closing costs, you're talking about a longer list of separate items, many of which have to do with your financing. If you're getting a mortgage to buy the home, if you're paying cash, great. You probably don't have to worry about some of this stuff. But when you're getting a mortgage, you're talking about paying loan origination fees at closing. You're talking about paying for the appraisal that took place as part of the transaction, any credit reporting fees. Next would be title charges, right? You might have title insurance, for example. We want to deliver you clean title to the property. So what that is we want to make sure there are no liens against it or no encumbrances, anything that will affect your ownership of the property. We want to make sure that there's no 100-year-old easement that the farmer down the street has a right-of-way across your property to access the river back here to feed his animals. That would really affect your ownership of the property. It would also affect your resale value. You're also paying attorney's fees, right? Attorneys to represent your interests. Lately, I have been recommending to people, and I'll mention it here, the good people at Stiles Law in Marshfield. They not only do they do the title and settlement, they're really just great when it comes to serving any of our buyer clients and serving their interest through the transaction. Highly recommend. Hold on to that name for future reference. At closing, you may also be paying some prepaid items like property tax. You may be paying 3 months of that up front, depending on the date. Property taxes are typically meant to be collected on the middle month of every quarter. So February 1st, May 1st, August 1st, and November 1st is when they're due. So they may be accounted for when you get your closing disclosure a few days ahead of closing. There's also a phrase we use called deposit reserves or impounds is the word I was looking for. Those are those prepaid items, homeowners insurance, property taxes, they'll be accounted for when you go to closing. Some closing costs may actually be prorated. So let's say you're buying a condo. You're closing June 15th, but the seller already paid your HOA fees, the monthly HOA fees, June 1st. Those are going to be prorated, so you're still going to be responsible for those HOA fees, your portion of them, for the second half of June. One note that I'll have you jot down for later is that closing costs are negotiable. So you may find yourself in a situation, and I don't think you'll find it in this market that we're dealing with today in August 2020, but you may find yourself in a situation where you can ask for a seller credit toward your closing costs as the buyer. There are also situations where the buyer may be expected to reimburse the buyer's agent directly out of their pocket. So everything's negotiable. Real estate is about nuance. It's why us real estate agents have so much job security, really. So hopefully that at least gives you a little bit of perspective on closing costs and what it's all about. That's our video for today. Contact us anytime to dive deeper on any of these little topics. In the meantime, if you need me, I'll be sitting right here at my desk, staring at my computer, hitting refresh until the Dune trailer comes out. I'm really looking forward to nerding over that right now. I've been looking up stuff on it all morning. So yeah, really gonna nerd out. Thanks for watching, and of course, contact us anytime.